Hey folks, this is Vincent Adelie with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out Farm Together 2. This is a game that you can find on Steam's Early Access program for about 20 bucks or so. There is a 10% launch discount should you want to get the game for slightly cheaper. So Adelie is with me today because she is the resident expert here. She's got over, I don't know, 100 hours. How many hours do you have in Farm Together 1?
In Farm Together 1, sorry, I should have brought that up earlier.
It's fine.
Or, I have over 6,369 hours.
Oh my god. All right, so that's why she's here. I did play the first one, but not to that extent. So, Farm
Yeah.
Together 2, my first impressions are like it's low on content, but it introduces some quality of life features that make the game better in certain ways. So, like, in some ways, the game is taking a step forward, while in others, it's taking a step back. But at the same time, you can explain the step backs because it's still in early access. It's not a done game yet. So, I'm hoping
Mhm.
that they introduce what is missing from one and then expand from there at some point in the future. Settings menu, just real quick. There's a game menu here. Just go ahead and pause if you want to see this in greater detail. I'm not going to insult your intelligence by reading this all off to you. Is there anything about the options menu that stuck with you? Like, is there anything that was a problem, or is it
No, not really.
okay?
I do wish that they had the inventory option to be toggled on your screen.
Yes. So, like in the first game, you have an inventory. And in the first game, you could set that inventory permanently on, I think it was like the bottom part of your screen. Whereas in this game, you have to hold in tab to see it. So I want to see a permanent inventory on your screen somewhere. As far as customizing your character, when you create a character, there is no male female button. Rather, you just have to cycle through and try to make your character as feminine or as masculine as you possibly can to your heart's content. Even then, I had trouble. Like, I just come on. I had trouble making my character masculine. I didn't like it. So it
Yeah,
was
there are actually some people who are asking me on Steam, how do you make your character male? How do you make it female? And I'm like, there's a boob slider, but that's about it.
yeah, really. So you can adjust over time. You'll unlock new outfits for your character, but as you can see, like I'm level 25. My profile level is 25. I only have access to 5 outfits right now, so there's not a whole lot. There are variants. If you hit Z, you can swap between the variants, but even then, it's still fairly limited. See, this is what I'm talking about. There's 6 different heads that you can pick between. Some of them are clearly feminine in the way they look. So it's like trying to find a male character. Just give me a male female button toggle. Seriously, it's just. I'm sorry, but that it should just anyway. Without getting too much into that, there's earrings and makeup and backpacks, but again, options are extremely limited. I sincerely hope that they do not introduce things as DLC while the game is in early access to make up for the fact that there's very little content. If it goes that route, I'll be extremely upset. You can adjust emotes from here. You can also adjust your tractor to some degree, like you could in the first one. But again, options are pretty limited. Even though I'm a high profile level, I only have like 6 and 10 is that I can choose between. So yeah, so that's that. You can also customize your experience as far as your farm goes. There's visibility. There's offline, online private, and online public. I'm gonna set mine to public. So can you find me on private?
I think I can actually.
All right,
So,
I'll leave it on public just in case, so I don't have to
okay.
keep going back. But you can set your permissions here. You can also set custom permissions like you could in the first game, meaning don't if you don't want people coming in and planting stuff for you and wasting your money or trolling you, you can set up your permissions in such a way to where it's beneficial to you. You can name your farm. I'm gonna go ahead and hit play, and she'll probably join my farm momentarily here.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, if you've never played Farm Together 1, you're given like this starter plot. Oh, could not join the game, could not create lobby, error code. Do you want to play
Oh,
it?
did you not update the game?
I thought I did. Yeah, I did update the game according to
Hmm,
Steam. It's weird. Let's hit. I'll try again.
try again.
It's loading now.
Ah, okay, I see it.
It must have been a thing. Okay. So, like in the first game, you're given a small plot of land, and the whole idea is to make money and to expand your farm. It's a very chill kind of game. You'll eventually be able to put various animal types down. If you hit Q, it'll open up your shop. There's a wide variety of different crops, some of which you have to unlock by leveling up other crops. So, for example, this mystery crop here will only be available once I get my tomatoes to level 10. Right now they're level 8 out of 10, but once I get them to level 10, I'll unlock this crop and I'll be able to use it. There are seasons in this game, and certain crops are only available during certain seasons, and the season indicator's in the top right. It's about to change from summer to fall in a moment. That usually just refreshes the trees and some other seasonal crops or trees, whatever the case is. So there's also fish in this game, and if I hit M, you can kind of see things at a glance. Anything with little dots on it actually tells you when it's ready to harvest, which is kind of nice. I don't think it did that in the first game. I can't remember. Well, it looks like someone else just joined as well. So
Yep.
yeah, if you have it set to public, you can, people will just come by and harvest things on your farm. One thing I don't like is that there's no benefit for them to do so at the moment. Like I
Mhm.
was hoping that there'd be some kind of like reward or bonus for people harvesting stuff for you, but there's not. In the first one, from what Pony was telling me, you do get a slight bonus for that. I can't remember. What did you get for helping other people?
So when you help someone else on their farm, there's a little lightning bolt meter that shows up, and it slowly fills up over time as you water and harvest and do all sorts of things on another person's farm. When you go back on your own farm, the timer will start counting down from that boost meter, and anything you harvest will double its yield and income. So it's great for people who have a quest, let's say, of 10 chickens. If you harvest 5 chickens on your farm while that boost is running, you'll complete your quest because that's similar to 10 chickens.
I
It's
see.
pretty great.
Cool. Now, one of the new features they've added to this game, your tractor can now go on like a cruise control. By hitting shift, it slowly goes forward. Like I'm hands free right now. It's just automatically going forward. It will harvest everything within a 3 by 3 grid. And if it's doing plants, or if it's doing like crops, for example, it'll water crops, it'll harvest crops, it'll do everything all at once, which is really cool. It drains a lot of your fuel in the process, but it's a really cool feature. The only thing that sucks is that you might accidentally plant things that you didn't want to plant. If you have a crop selected to plant, and no matter where you are, your shift automatic mode will plant things in places where you may not want them to be. So it takes some getting used to, but it's a cool new feature that they've introduced to this game. Um, so yeah, what you're doing, like I said, is just going around. You're harvesting trees, you're harvesting fish, and it's all about money management. There's three kinds of currencies in this game. There's coins, which is the main currency. And then there's diamonds, which is a little bit more premium. It's used to purchase like decorations and other things, and ribbons, which are like ultra rare resources that you only get by doing quests. If I hit escape and go to the quest log, these are randomly generated. There's no main story like in, say, Big Farm Story. Rather, you've got this just randomly generated quests that you're going to be doing. Typically, it involves harvest so many daisies, harvest so many pears from pear trees. So it's just,
You,
hmm.
sorry, I was gonna say you can also press L to go directly to the quest log,
Oh,
which is
nice.
nice.
Didn't even
Mhm,
know that.
mhm.
What sucks is that you can only pin one quest at a time. So if you want to switch between them, you have to like unpin one to go. It just automatically unpins another one, which sucks. Like you can't see more than one quest at a time on the
Yeah.
screen, which is kind of unfortunate.
But if
Um,
you are harvesting a crop, a quest item crop, that quest will show up briefly.
Correct.
So,
And
yeah.
also, if you hit Q, you'll see little storage boxes on the tabs and on the animals or the crops, whatever. That's telling you that that's part of a quest item. It doesn't say if you've completed it already or whatever, but it just says it's part of a quest. So if you
Mhm.
want to quit without having to go into your quest log, you can come here and
Hmm.
Oh, this fish is part of the quest. Maybe I'll make a couple of extra of those, you know.
Even in your map, it'll tell you which items are quests by the yellow highlighted area.
Yeah, so hitting M brings up that, and anything in the yellow highlighted areas, that is part of a quest, which is kind of cool.
Hmm.
There is a chat feature, so I'll probably thank this person. Thanks for helping. There we go. So yeah, I mean it's super casual, super light, super fun. There is a town in this game. It's also a new feature compared to the first one. I'll go to this little bus station here and hit travel to town. And it's not as grandiose as it sounds. The way this town works is this. You're going to it's an empty town in the very beginning. And you may see people running around, but these are just AI bots running around that you can talk to and sometimes do quests. I mistook them for actual people at one point and was trying to wave at them and stuff. They waved back, but yeah, they're AI. I didn't know that until it's just it's yeah, you don't see anyone here unless they came from your farm, if that makes
Hmm.
any sense. So what you're going to do is over time you're going to be presented with this empty town, and then there's these little greenhouse. There's little greenhouse signs. If you interact with them, you'll be able to put up various shops and stands, and that's what these things are here. This is where you go to offload your excess inventory. So this one is a candy shop. I can turn in, looks like whatever that, peanuts or whatever that is, and get rid of those. So if I hold in tab, I'm like, oh, I'm full on fish, I'm full on wheat, I'm full on flowers. I need to get rid of those because it's just if you try to harvest these things, it's just wasted. What you want to do is sell them whenever you can, so that you can continuously get diamonds and they not go to waste. But you do need these resources for certain crafting recipes. You will get a house, for example, and you can cook. You can play the piano. You can do some art stuff. And you will need resources for that. So it's a good idea to keep like 20 or 30 of each resource. Don't sell them all completely. Just keep some of them so that you have at least some resources available. But that's what this town is. All it's here for is to offload your excess inventory and to unlock new things. And part of me thinks that there's potential for a whole lot more here. And I was reading a recent blog post from the developers. They agree, and other players agree, that like town is kind of just blah at the moment. It sucks that you have to go to, in order to get rid of your excess inventory, you have to go to town. It's an extra step that I feel is not necessary. So I'm hoping they do more with the town to make players have a reason to go there other than to offload their inventory every so often. It's just an annoying extra step that doesn't need to take place. I was hoping town would be a bit more public, more social, more interactive. Here it's just a place to offload inventory as it stands, which is kind of
Hmm.
unfortunate. In Farm Together 1, there were like 13 different houses that you can build, assuming you have all the DLC. In this game, you can only build one house so far. There's only one kind of house, but like I said, you can put objects in here. It has its own little shop, so you can cycle through the different inventory items. And again, you do unlock things as you play, so just be mindful of that. But still, I'm level. It says I'm 30, farm level 31 in the upper right, profile level 26 in the upper left,
Hmm.
and I still only see a very small helping of furniture items. So, like, as it stands, like from a first impression standpoint, this game is pretty bare bones. It's early access, so I have to make allowances for that. But at the same time, like, if you're coming from Farm Together 1, and then you go to play this, you'll go, oh, cool, there's some new features. But I missed this. I missed this. I miss this. I miss this. I miss. You see what I'm saying? So like I was
Hmm.
saying earlier, like this game is like, you know, it's like it's a template for improvement compared to the first one, but it's like it's missing things that the first one had. You know, if that makes any sense. So like I can't wait to see what this game's going to look like when it's done. I just sincerely hope that, you know, they actually include everything from the first game and more. I am kind of concerned, however, if the developers decide to re-release the DLCs that were already part of the first one and make you buy it all over again, because there's like what 8 or 9 DLCs in the first one. Each one is like a theme. Like one's a space theme, one's a this theme, one's a that theme. I'd
I
hate
thought there
it.
were
Hmm?
22.
20. Okay, well, you know better than I do.
I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
But what's cool though is that I know they are working on it. And I know this probably doesn't make up for it, but we will be riding horses eventually.
Riding horses eventually.
Riding horses. That's really exciting. That is the only thing I'm looking forward to.
How's your first impressions been? Like, are you? I know you've been playing it almost 2 days straight ever since it
Yeah,
came out, but I
I'll be
mean,
honest.
any
I was
complaints? Like,
I was very hesitant. I was very nervous. I thought I was going to hate it. I thought the character models, at first, um, in the preview trailers, I thought they looked like D&D dwarven characters,
hmm
you know? But now I'm playing it and it is so smooth. The transitioning from the tractor, like doing the bringing up the tractor and then getting off of it is very smooth. Harvesting is really smooth. It's easier on the eyes. It's not that much saturation as in the first one. And that's not to say it's a bad thing or a good thing. It's just it's really cool that they have that option. Um, and the sound is just nicer. Like the sound doesn't sound so heavy as the first one, and the first one wasn't even that heavy. I don't even know if you can like see where my mind is at right now, but
it's all good. I mean, so compared to
I
the
like
compared
I
to the,
like it.
compared
It's
to the
good.
first one, do you think like I mean, would you rather play the first one or would you rather play this one right now? Like,
Honestly, I think I would rather play this one right now just because it does have terraforming and it's really cool that you can do your own little landscape stuff, which is really nice.
hmm
And while I'm still kind of hesitant on the whole town thing, I love that you can upgrade your storage with actual resources. It gives you a reason to hold on to your resources. In the first one, I had hundreds of thousands of resources, and the only thing I could do was sell them, really. And I couldn't really use them for anything else except for the very end game upgradable tables. Now, here, it's kind of very puzzly in a sense that I have to hold on. I can't just sell all my resources because I need them to upgrade certain buildings. Oh,
you
it would be
mentioned
like this.
terraforming.
Hmm.
And that is a new feature. My only complaint with it is that you have to reach farm level 30 before you get access to it. Just so
And
you
20
know.
ribbons.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
20 ribbons, right. And the way that looks is under the mountain tab, the terrain tab, there's these 3 new ones come up whenever you create or whenever you unlock that. It's a shop in town that you have to it's a shop in town you have to buy. There's no upgrades, there's no interacting with it, but once you unlock it, you have access to this robot and you can fly around, raise lower land. So, like, there's no ability to create a flat farm like you could in the first one. But again, that's something, if you read the latest blog post from the developer, some people were actually complaining that you can't just create a flat farm. And the
Yeah.
developers wrote back saying, well, there's really no need to do that now that there's terraforming. But my response to that is, well, the terraforming should be available earlier than profile level 30, in my opinion, or
Hmm.
farm level 30, in my opinion, because like it takes way too long to unlock.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like this game is still in its early stages, and it
I
shows.
also I also read that they are thinking about implementing a button where it will just completely flatten your farm. Just like the recycle farm option in the farm settings,
hmm
there might be in the future a button that'll just flatten everything. So we'll see how that works out.
That's cool. Well, anything
Mhm.
else to say about this? We're kind of in the 20-minute mark. So,
Yeah.
is there anything
I
else to say about this?
I'm really enjoying the game. If you enjoy Farm Together 1, you will probably enjoy the sequel
hmm
because while it's not vastly different, it's different enough, I think.
hmm
So,
With the caveat that don't expect everything that Farm Together 1 had
Yeah.
right away. Like, if you get this now, like, I got the game literally yesterday, and I'm profile level 30, and, like, I feel like I'm almost halfway done with the game, if that makes any sense.
You have to max all the storage buildings, you have to max all the crops.
I mean,
That's when you're
yeah,
done with
I
the
know
game.
that. I mean, your crops do level up like in the first one, but if you go to the shop, for example, the
Hmm.
max, the crops, the max one crops are the I don't know what I'm trying to say. The last crop on the list unlocks at level 60. I'm level 30. So like in order for me to unlock almost everything, like I'm halfway there is what I'm saying in terms of crop unlock. So like I feel like, with the current content in the game, I'll be able to get most of this stuff done within the week. You know what I mean? So I feel like once I get that far, I'd really only come on to help other people out or to, as she said, level up my crops to make them
Hmm.
better. I'm not as a completionist as she is. Like I don't see it. I don't feel a need to constantly, get everything to max level. But it is something to work toward if that's something that interests you. You know.
Hmm.
So anywho, so that was Farm Together too. First impressions are good, and I think it's worth the $20, honestly. Just because, like, we already have, I want to say, 8 to 10 hours in this game already, and half of that, I mean, that's half of 10 hours, $20. I mean, and there's going to be way more time spent in this game, so I say it's worth it if you like
Yeah.
farming games. And again, the multiplayer is very, very casual, very easy. It's easy to jump in, jump out. Let me quickly thank this person. Thanks. There we go. So I love it, and the community seems to be fairly friendly. I haven't run into a single rude person yet, so
Hmm.
that's good. But again, in town, I haven't really come across a whole lot of people, to be honest with you. Like, the only people I've really come across are those that visit my farm. I'm hoping that town in the future evolves into some kind of, like, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, like the massive central hub to the universe
Hmm.
kind of thing. I would like town to evolve into something like that, where people can come here and interact, trade resources, barter, set up a shop, and you can sell things.
I highly doubt they're going to do that
But
because if you think about it, this storage thing, it's basically just a way to not have buildings in your farm. It's just because in the farm together one,
mhm,
you have to plant vegetable trucks, you have to do vegetable stands, fruit stands in order to sell your crops.
mhm,
This farm together two, instead of having those buildings there, all they did was just have it in a town and it's just an extra screen that you have to load into.
mhm.
So I don't think it's going to be an MMO multiplayer type of place. I think it's more for events, to be honest.
Okay. Well, I hope that in the future they introduce something to encourage more social interaction.
Same.
I
Hmm.
mean, either in town or again, giving rewards to people that come to your town and help out.
Yeah.
Because like as it stands, like what's the point of me going? It's like playing a co-op game and only the host getting rewarded for it for the
Hmm.
efforts, and then everyone else does not get anything. Those kind of co-op games like baffle me. Like why wouldn't you give
Yeah.
bonuses to the other people that are helping out?
It was said that multiplayer boosts will most likely come back. Will definitely come back. It's
Hmm.
just right now they didn't implement it
Gotcha.
just on release.
All
So
right.
I'm hopeful for it.
All right. Well, I mean, I think we're both hopeful for it. So if you do
Hmm.
buy it now, just keep in mind it's not going to be as evolved as the first one, but you will see some new quality of life features that weren't in the first one. So, Farm Together too, folks. There you go. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to me on Twitch and YouTube. That way you can stay up to date with any new content I'm going to publish. This is Vincent Ida Lee. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch y'all next time. Take care.
Hey guys.